Welcome to the A Monday Moment with Dr. Mal podcast, where each week I, Dr. Mal, share life lessons and motivation to kickstart your Monday. Whether you're starting your day or winding down, join me or me and my future guest for a burst of positivity and a fresh perspective. Let's make Mondays meaningful together. Greetings and happy Monday, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Mallory D. McCoy, and welcome to this week's episode of A Monday Moment with Dr. Mal. As always, may this broadcast bring you what you need in the present moment. May my light exude positivity and kindness, and may my love be extended to all who could use a little extra. Ashe. Let's seize the moment. So you may have already noticed that I am using a different platform. So for the year of 2025, I decided to change it up a little bit. So not a lot of visuals, but certainly a lot more of me and my face. So if you're watching this and not listening to this, it's just me on the screen. So I love it, here for it all, and excited for the little change. Anyway, I still plan to keep the show format the same. And so as always, I kick it off with a little bit of gratitude. This week, I just wanted to take time to reflect and express my gratitude for the year of 2024, the Gregorian year of 2024. It was a universal 8-year, which in numerology means that the energy around the year had themes of expansion, financial wealth, and embodying strength. And for me, it was certainly a take action year because personally, I climbed so many mountains, figuratively and literally. I mean, I didn't climb multiple mountains this year, but I certainly climbed literally one mountain, the Manitou Incline in Colorado Springs. I also went black girl camping and floated down a river for 8 hours, made food on a fire, and I slept on the ground in a sleeping bag in a tent, and there was a wild hog out there sniffing around my tent. I'm just so proud of myself of the growth that I have had in the year of 2024 as far as, becoming one with nature and being outside. I love being outside anyway, and I talked about that a little bit, or actually a lot of it this year, but I've certainly become closer to nature than I've ever been in my whole entire life, and I'm just grateful for that. It's certainly been a life-changing experience, and I'm excited and I'm pumped to have even more experiences that put me closer and closer to the natural way of living, which is being outside. So I'm excited about that. I completed some hard tasks this last year, like long-term subbing for kindergarten, which it wasn't really a hard task per se. It was just, I had went from not teaching and then I shifted into teaching for 10 weeks, but those babies changed my life too, and actually prompted me to do a project here in 2025, which I'll explain later in the show. I also checked off the box, check, of a lifelong dream of mine, which was to become a doctor and have my doctorate in educational administration. That's what I wrote on a list of goals that I wanted to have when I was 9 years old. And so to have this dream come to fruition is just unreal. So here I am, I'm Dr. Mal, and I'm done with my doctorate. There was some easy tasks laced in 2024, but the most important task was laying the groundwork for what will be the largest figurative garden I've ever grown in my entire life. I have been a business owner since 2020. I've had my LLC since then. And under my LLC, I try to put different things underneath it, including having my notarial business underneath it. So I'm still a notary, but I've revamped the structure of my LLC and I added another DBA, doing business as. And so hashtag whenmallorylives, I was already functioning under that hashtag, but I actually added it to my business in 2024. I'm all about numbers. And so anyway, under that umbrella, I have I've started a personal brand for myself, but I'm really going to hit the ground running with that in this upcoming year. And to start out the year, the Gregorian year, I'm starting with the soul space for Black women, which I'll talk about here later. And I created a new business, a business spawned from my dissertation work. If my dissertation work showed that Black girls needed space in suburban spaces, suburban in this area equaling predominantly white school spaces, then I needed to be the one to create it. And so myself and my business partner, and her name is Aisha, and another beautiful woman, Chardonnay, we started Bell's Garden. Chardonnay had to exit stage left because she was starting her first year teaching, and Aisha and I took the reins. And so here we are. I'm super excited to talk about it later, but I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful in 2024, I got to speak on 3 different stages. And that is certainly something that I'm proud of, because most of my life, I've used my throat chakra area to communicate through singing. And so I've been a vocalist for most of my life, but this year being able to use it in a different way has been so exciting. I mean, I started my podcast. Oh, I should celebrate that. I started my podcast January 1st, 2024. And so Wednesday, it will be a whole year since I started my podcast. So this whole entire year, the whole theme has been to use my throat chakra in a different way than I have been using it. And every time that I have used it, it's gotten stronger. And so I'm just really excited to continue in that space and continue in speaking, because one of my life purposes here is to communicate my lessons through my learned experiences to other people so that they can heal themselves and grow. And so I'm excited about that. In 2024, I traveled and I went on a few vacations and visited 3 new places. I went some places, but there's 3 places that I hadn't visited before. And Manitou Springs, Colorado was one. Fort Lauderdale, Florida was another. I've been all over Florida and hadn't been to Fort Lauderdale. What a beautiful space. And Phoenix, Arizona. In Phoenix, I got to see my sister and spend some time climbing in the mountains, which was beautiful. I made time for my friend groups, which are very important to me, and we kicked it and we had tons of fun. I made new connections and I've had a ball learning new people and keeping connections, both male and female. So I'm excited about that. I did have some incredibly difficult times too. This last year, I had to take care of my dad in a way that I hadn't taken care of him before. And so that was certainly challenging and continues to still be a challenge, but we're working through it. I also had a hard time in my romantic relationship. My relationship has always been, we've always struggled because we're both so headstrong and we both have a leadership mentality. So, but this time it was because of myself. Because really, if you think about it, in my maturity, I've learned the people outside of us are only mirrors to what's inside of us. So I was on the struggle bus, pick me. And I also was simultaneously experiencing the dark night of the soul. If you're not familiar with what a dark night of the soul is, please look it up, because if you also are or had experienced a dark night of the soul, then it will bring comfort to you to know that you are not alone. And so my dark night of the soul and this time had heavy themes of releasing the things, letting go of things, and surrendering, like literally having no control. And if you know anything about me, I love to have, or I should say pseudo control, because we don't have control over things like we think we do. But I have to have some sort of order, and there was no order. It was chaotic. It was crazy, and still in some senses is, but I'm coming to a point where now I am recognizing what I need to release, because I kept getting that release, let go, stop being fearful, all these things. And I'm like, what am I supposed to be releasing? So now I'm enlightened a little bit more to what I need to release. And truly, it's not my will, it's thy will. Like, that's what I need to release. The fact that I think I have control, but baby, we don't have control. It's thy will. Source creator energy, thy will. All praises. Thankful for the enlightenment. Needless to say, this enlightenment has catapulted me into a different understanding of life, relationships, and my own spirituality. I'm not the person I used to be. So if you know me for a long time, you got to learn a new me, because I'm different, and I've undergone a dramatic transformation. And to give you a visual, for a few years, I would say since my 35th birthday, because my 35th birthday is when I decided to go on a trip by myself. It was my first solo trip. I went to Florida for 3 days. Life-changing. I would have called that my caterpillar stage. And so, there was a whole pandemic and a whole lot of world changes happening in that. So I've been slowly transitioning through the chrysalis stage. I would say that for a long time, I stayed in the chrysalis stage because I was trying out things and things didn't work and stuff was happening. And I was letting fear holding me back from transforming into who I am. And so now I feel like I'm not fully into who I am just yet, but my chrysalis is now ready to open into a beautiful butterfly. And the only apprehension that I have is at an all-time low, but it was apprehension to embrace the new me. And the only person that was standing in the way of that is me. And so I'm finally ready to fly, and I'm finally ready to be free. So I'm excited about that. I know that was a long, lengthy, grateful section, but I promise it has some connotations, or it's in reference to what I'm going to continue to talk about. So I love me a good definition, and I'm team facts over feelings. So let's get to the facts of it all. Really, the only fact I want to drop in this show is to align with the numerology that I dropped earlier in the episode about the year and the universal number. So 2025 actually adds up to 9. 5 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2. And in numerology, the number 9 represents completion, transformation, and releasing what no longer serves you. So my life is aligned. So it's the perfect time to align your subconscious with new beginnings. There's a lot of new that's going to be taking place. And this year perfectly aligns with my spiritual journey, because the work I've been doing emotionally, mentally, and spiritually is coming to fruition. It's already here. According to crystals.com, in this universal 9 year, many will feel a deep urge to tie up loose ends, wrap up old projects, and clear out emotional baggage. Also, the 9 year encourages us to reflect on the journey we've taken so far and to make peace with the past in preparation for the new. Expect a year where healing and closure will take center stage. Whether it's relationships, career paths, or personal growth, 2025 will call us to finalize chapters, let go of what no longer serves us, and move forward with a sense of completion. And that brings me to the topic of the week, which is 2025. What a time to be alive. Let me tell you, I am so excited about 2025. There are so many things already that I'm looking forward to, and that's just in the first quarter of the year. I know that 2025 is going to be an abundant year for me because my spirit team told me so. Not just financially, because abundance, when I'm speaking about it, doesn't just mean financially, but I know that that's a facet of it too, because we got to get that bread to live. But in all facets of abundance is what I'm looking forward to. So I just want to share a few things I'm looking forward to. First of all, community service is taking center stage in my life. I wrote a dissertation about the social emotional experience of Black girls in suburban schools, and now I'm getting to educate others on why focusing on Black girls' educational experience matters. I think I can announce that my business, Bell's Garden, will work with our first suburban school district starting in February and consult with them for the 2025-2026 school year. Now, this school district is not in the Kansas City area, and actually we were fortunate to be able to meet with the superintendent while we were in Atlanta. We connected at the NAPSE conference in ATL. It's the National Alliance for Black School Educators Conference, where Aisha and I presented on our work. The presentation was called The Sister That Grew from Suburban Soil. And so we connected. He asked us to write a proposal. We created a proposal and we modified the proposal based on the district's needs and was asked to start in late February. So whoop, whoop, here we go. We are out of town. Actually, we're traveling to the great state of Wisconsin. Neither one of us have been there. So that's also a new place that I'm looking forward to exploring. And we are up there. I'm just so excited about that. And I can't wait to start. This is my dream coming true. This is my dream actualized, working with Black girls in suburban spaces and formally doing it in a school district. And I'm just looking forward to, I know that we've already sent an APB out to Kansas City area schools, and I'm confident that we'll get to work in our hometown too, because that's really where my dissertation work centers, is in Kansas City. You know, we work in nationwide apparently, and we'll start in Wisconsin and just keep moving around. So excited about that. I also, in the first quarter of the year, January 9th, was asked to be on a local radio station. My soul sister, her Nicolette Page, she is an Ifa priestess here in Kansas City, and she hosts a show called Soul Child Awakenings Radio, and she asked me to be on it. So I'm excited to be interviewed. I've been interviewing people, so now I'm excited to be interviewed by someone. So I'm grateful for that opportunity, and I look forward to more opportunities like that. I also am starting and building a virtual community for the soul of the Black woman. I'm literally calling it Soul Space for Black Women. And my intent is to host a high vibrational safe space for my sisters that promotes mental, emotional, and spiritual healing using the power of nature and other modalities such as astrology, Reiki, crystals, sound bowls, and other ancestral rituals. I myself practice ancestral reverence and will help women actualize the power of the divine feminine energy, which right now I'm really passionate about, since I've dove deep into that and understand how divine feminine energy actually works in my life. So this community is only open to Black women who are 21 and older, because we're going to talk about some grown people stuff. And all topics are welcome for discussion, especially all things mental, emotional, spiritual, non-religious. I'm non-religious, and ethereal. I initially had some trepidation to move into this space, because in revealing this side of me is also to remove a mask that I was wearing to conceal the shadow work and spiritual transformation I was undergoing at the same time I'm writing this dissertation. One day I'll write about that, because that was difficult. Because the things I was studying was aligning with societal expectations, but the shadow work and spiritual transformation that I was doing was not aligning with societal expectations. So I just had to fake it to make it. But baby, I made it. I'm confident we will all arrive at the place that I'm at right now, but it's just not going to happen at the same time. There are people who, like me, have been ordained to go first, ordained to open up the window first. And so here I am. Whoop, here we are. Spirit has led me to this point, because literally it was like, stop being fearful. This is what you're supposed to do. So here I am doing it. And to prepare, I've been observing, studying, listening to the inner vibrations of my mind, body, and my spirit. And just to learn how to authentically show up in as all parts of me and in all situations. And let me tell you, it was dark in there, because I've spent my life as a social chameleon. I literally can make myself be what people wanted me to be in any social situation. And I know it sounds exhausting, but look up Life Path 3. That's our whole life. And so I had to conjure the brightest light to move through a lot of stored energy that was no longer serving me. And as I previously stated, I am so proud of myself, because I have done my work. As Ayamla says, I've done the work. I have done my work. And I have ascended beyond and continue to move through societal programming that no longer serves me. and I've released my mask. And so I'm allowed me to reintroduce myself. I'm a light worker and I'm a healer. And my purpose, like I said earlier, is to use my lived experiences to heal others using holistic modalities and help Black women remember who they really are by tapping into the power, their own divine feminine energy. So if that resonates with you, please join me in my Patreon space. The link will be in the show notes and all over my social media. I'll be posting every day until that point. But you can also go to Patreon and search and find Soul Space for Black Women on Patreon. And I started an IG page. Some posts will end up there, but most posts will end up on the Patreon page. Actually, all of them. And our first virtual sister circle will be on Thursday, January 9th, 2025 from 8:28 to 9:28 Central Standard Time. Mark your calendars. 8:28 is an important number to me, so that's the reason why I chose that number. I'm also excited to offer private tarot and oracle card readings in the upcoming year, 2025. That felt like a coming out party to me. Like, you read tarot and oracle cards? Like, tell me more. I mean, people who are not educated about that area of esoteric means can, certainly create whatever story they want to create about it. But let me tell you, it was spirit-led. I was led to read tarot and oracle cards, and it's been life-changing, not only for me, but when I read other people, they like, Mallory, you are spot on. But there's no way to not be 100% accurate when you're reading tarot and oracle cards, especially the way that I do it, because it's spirit ordained. Like, it's not me that's picking the cards. It's our spirit teams. Because they got some information to share with us. So I'm really excited about it. And I know that I have tapped into myself to be able to use the cards as a medium to help others, to help myself and to help others. So I give myself a tarot card reading and oracle card reading every month, at least on the 28th. And then if I need some in between, I will. But let me enlighten you on your journey, because it's not my will. It's not your will. It's thy will be done. Let me help you. And I'll have that link also in my show notes so that you can look up how I can help you. And this is what I'm really excited about. Oh my gosh. On March 15th, 2025, I will get the honor of being honored on the largest stage for Black women in the Midwest as a 2025 Lift Her Up award honoree and recipient for the Lift Her Up movement that happens every year. It has happened for the last 7 years. This is the year 8. So I feel very powerful because eight's my number. And this is a space always literally lifts me up. Like, I walk in and I feel like I'm walking on a cloud. This year, over 1,300 women, mostly Black women, in a space. If you've ever been in a space with a whole bunch of Black women, it's like being in a space with Power Rangers. There's like all this power and all this energy and all the smells, because one thing we gonna do when we show up in a space, baby, is smell good, look good, all the outfits. It's like my greatest dream. Like, I look so forward to spending time in the energy of these women. And I meet new people every year. But this year, I'm actually an honoree. And so I'm excited about that. And I say I'm excited, but that feels reductive because I really don't have the words to properly describe how I feel about it all. I'm just overall grateful. And to know what I'm talking about is to experience it. So I'm just saying, tickets are already on sale. Last time I checked, though, there was only 150 tickets left. And so if you're interested, I'll also have that link in my show notes. Actually, just go to my website, whenmallorylives.com, and I'll have a link to the Lift Her Up conference on there. So that happens March 15th. On March 1st, I have a surprise drop that I've been working on. It's actually inspired from the babies that I subbed for in 2024. And so I'm excited about this project that I've been working on, and I can't wait to share it with the world. And it's going to be monumental, but especially going to be monumental for those educators who know the power of astrology and moon cycles and how they affect our babies, for real. So I'm excited to drop that. And then I just know that there are so many more amazing things in store for 2025 because my spiritual team has already affirmed it for me. So I'm ready to receive it all. I'm open and I'm ready and I'm willing to receive it all. So my call to action for you this week is just to be intentional about how you're going to move through the year of 2025. Intentional is the key, because sometimes we can just move through life. Pick me. I'm guilty. We just move through life not thinking about anything, just more like, okay, what's the next day? I'm a very live in the present type person. And so me talking about being intentional about a year, that shows my growth, because I'm like, okay, I got to be intentional about this year. So here's some things I think that you can do to ease your journey through any timeline, whether you choose the Gregorian calendar, whether you choose spring as your marker of a new year, that's me, however you choose a time frame, you're going to be intentional about moving through that time frame. And here's how you're going to do it. First, you're going to start a gratitude practice. I cannot express enough just how powerful it's been for me to start a gratitude practice. I started November 28th of 2023. And every day that I wake up in gratitude, my life shifts. It's like an energy that you can't describe. And all you have to do is start by being grateful for something. Literally every day, even if it's chaotic, even if it's sad, even if you have the opposite end of the spectrum of emotions about it, you can still find something to be grateful about. I'm pretty sure you can. So start an intentional gratitude practice. Number 2, be loving, compassionate, and kind to yourself and others. There's already so much mess out here in this world, but our intuitive reaction should be to counteract the negativity with positivity. But oftentimes, what feels natural, homeostasis, says that we interact with negativity. But I promise, change that thought process, and not only toward others, but to yourself. Be loving, be compassionate, be kind to yourself. Okay. And then number 3, create specific goals. So it is common practice for us to create New Year's resolutions. And what we find is that people don't stick with these New Year's resolutions because they're not specific. They're just very vague. And how are you going to meet the goal? So one of the things that, as a teacher, we talked about a lot is helping ourselves and helping others create SMART goals. And SMART is an acronym, SMART, for a type of goal you're going to create. The goal is going to be specific. You're going to be specific about what you want to achieve. Ask yourself the questions who, what, when, where, why, when you're thinking about the specifics of it all. That's a hard word to say. And then the goal has to be measurable. Make sure you can measure your success. And so you'll be able to track it by answering questions like, how will you know when your goal is complete? The goal has to be achievable. Sometimes we make these lofty, big goals that we know we're not going to achieve. And if it's not necessarily that we're not going to achieve it. It's just that we forget the micro steps that it takes to achieve it. So the goal should actually be reflective in the micro steps, not necessarily the macro step. You can have an idea of what you want to happen overall in general, but don't forget to include those micro steps in between. Look at your current situation and make sure you have what you need to achieve. Relevant. It has to be relevant to your life. Like, I can't even think of one off the fly, but set yourself a goal that's relevant to you. Oh, I can. What's relevant to me right now is financials. I'm horrible at financials, but I'm not going to set an unrealistic and an unrelevant goal for me because I know that I like to spend money. So I made a goal for the month of January to not purchase any clothes because I don't really need any clothes, but I'm not going to purchase any clothes. That's something small. Or if no, I'm not purchasing any clothes. I'm not purchasing any clothes. I'm not getting a single shred of clothes for January because I don't need it. So when you're thinking about goals and their relevancy, you ask yourself things like, is your goal worthwhile to you? Are you the right person to achieve it? Is your goal applicable to your current situation, or is it unrealistic? So, and then lastly, time bound. Add a start date and an end date to your goal and encourage yourself to reach the deadline. And think about what you could do today, tomorrow, and months from now to achieve your goal. So S, specific, measurable, A, achievable, R, relevant, and T, time bound. And then this is just my plea for humanity. Can we stop suffering in silence? Can we make 2025 the year that we reach out and touch somebody's hand, make this world a better place if you can? Where's my microphone? Ask for help if you need it, and be okay if somebody says no, because I'll be honest. I know I'm struggling. I know other people are struggling too in my closed paradigm. So if I'm able to help you, I will. But if I'm not able to help you, then that's okay too. But we have to start reaching across the aisle. We have to start reaching out towards our neighbor. We have to stop suffering in silence. We have to be open and honest and communicate our feelings. We just got to do better. Let's make 2025 the year of doing better. Okay. I know this episode was long-winded, but I hope you're sticking with me. To wrap up today's episode, I'm just going to leave you with a list of affirmations. I got these affirmations from my affirmation app. It's called I Am Affirmations app. And I just love this app. It seems to be divinely aligned because literally the affirmation that I need at the moment that I need it, I get it. And so I just love it so much. And I get affirmations every day, and I just silently say them to myself, or I just look at my phone and smile sometimes. My partner will be like, what you smiling at your phone for? I'm smiling at the affirmation that I just got because it's so relevant. 2025 is bringing success. 2025 is bringing good luck. 2025 is bringing happiness. 2025 is bringing prosperity. 2025 is bringing abundance. 2025 is bringing positive vibes. 2025 is bringing new friendships. 2025 is bringing new beginnings. 2025 is bringing financial stability. 2025 is bringing new opportunities. 2025 is bringing exciting adventures. And 2025 is bringing unexpected blessings. Ashe, ashe, ashe. I'll take that. Well, that's all for me this week. I'm forever honored that you tune in. Thank you for tuning in to the year of Dr. Mal. I became doctor in the middle, but thank you for going on this beautiful journey with me. And as I embark on year number 2, podcast year number 2, I'm just so appreciative for those who support me and tune in with me and listen to me impart whatever I'm imparting on the people. Happy Gregorian calendar New Year, and whatever you decide to do to celebrate that, let it be safe and fun. Before I get out of here, I just got to express my excitement for the next few months. I've already expressed what I'm excited about personally in my personal and professional life, but for the podcast, I have some incredible guests slated for the upcoming shows, and I know that they're going to be powerful. So tune in to those shows. January shows are dedicated to health and wellness. February shows are dedicated to how we relate to others. And my March shows will feature Black women business owners here in the Kansas City metro area to align with Women's History Month. And, I celebrate Black women all day, every day. So I'm super excited about that. Until then, Love and peace to all of you. Have the best week. Thank you for tuning in for a Monday Moment with Dr. Mal, now proudly a part of the Alive Podcast Network. You can find this show on the Live Podcast Network website and app, and you can find this podcast streaming across your favorite podcast streaming platforms. If you love to have the visual, you can tune into my YouTube channel, When Mallory Lives, to see this show and catch up on all my shows from the beginning.